3, 2, 1.
Studio Classroom is Studio Classroom is on the air.
Hello friends, welcome to Studio Classroom on the air. This is the place to come when you want to have some fun. My name is Rebecca, and today your English will improve. Now, technology is great. I think we can all agree with that. It has made a big difference in people's lives. However, what if this technology is being used for the purpose of creating fake videos? Do you see this as a problem? Well, I'm sure that most people would see this as being a problem. Today, we are continuing our lesson from yesterday about deep fakes. That is, videos that are being created that have false information. We will learn more about this in a lesson called Deep Fakes. Now, perhaps this isn't something that you've thought about before, but it's definitely good to know about. Well, friends, right now it's time for you to open up your magazines because we must learn about deep fakes. Let's go. Deep fakes. So what can be done about the problem of deep fakes? Some governments are outlawing the use of artificial intelligence to modify content. The problem with this solution, though, is the difficulty of identifying deep fakes and their creators. Deep fakes are naturally hard to identify, and they can be posted anonymously on the internet. This makes laws against them difficult to enforce. Tech companies are also at work developing AI that can help recognize deepfakes. For now, some deepfakes can be discerned by humans who know what to look for.
Hello everyone, welcome to Language Lab. I'm Jack. 我们今天要看的第一个字是动词 outlaw。To outlaw 的意思是禁止或是成为违法的。譬如说 The government will pass a law that outlaws smoking in public places. 政府即将通过法律，禁止在公共场所里抽烟。或是 The use of German was outlawed in certain parts of the U.S. during World War I. 美国某些地方在一次世界大战时期禁止人民使用德文。再来一句 Gambling is not outlawed in the state of Nevada. 赌博在美国内华达州是没有被禁止的。好，我们再来看下一个动词 discern。在文章里 to discern 的意思是辨别出、看得出来或是认出来。譬如说 Is it natural for people to be able to discern right from wrong?Or do they need to be taught? 人能够辨别是非是天生的，还是需要被教导的呢？或譬如说 The deer heard the sound of a bird in the trees, but it did not discern the tiger in the bushes. 鹿呢，听到树枝上的小鸟的声音，但它却没有看出矮丛里有老虎。还有 When Sydney walked into the office, she could discern something was wrong. Sydney 一走进办公室就看得出有地方怪怪的。
Well, thank you very much, Jack. I don't think we will be outlawing the Language Lab anytime soon. Friends, if you're just joining us, we're on page 22 and 23 of your magazine. We're learning all about deep fakes, and this is a problem. But it's not a problem that I'm here. My name is Gabe.
It definitely is not a problem you're here, Gabe. We're happy that you're here. So, friends, Let's get right into our lesson. We see a question. So what can be done about the problem of deep fakes? Some governments are outlawing the use of artificial intelligence to modify content. Well, that sounds like a good idea, a good solution.
Right, this could be a good solution. We see there's a problem to this solution. But before we get to that problem, let's take a look at the word modify, because you can use this in several situations.
You definitely can. The word modify means to change something, such as a plan or a way of behavior, to improve it or to make it more acceptable or better.
That's right. So it's a positive thing here. It's kind of like the word revise. We usually use the word revise when talking about something artistic or creative we're working on. Like an article in your magazine probably had a few revisions since the first time it was written. But our lesson's talking about modifying something. The noun is modification. You could say that the government has implemented a few modifications. And when I think of the word modify, I think of that word Rebecca talked about, the idea of behavior. A parent might tell their child, you need to modify your behavior.
That's right. But of course, in our lesson, when we're talking about how people try to modify content that's with deep fakes, of course, that's not a good thing.
Right. But of course, the government is outlawing the use of artificial intelligence to modify content. We see a problem with this solution. We see the problem with this solution, though, is the difficulty of identifying deepfakes and their creators. We could also use the word however instead of though. The problem with this solution, however, is the difficulty.
Deepfakes are naturally hard to identify, and they can be posted anonymously on the internet. So if they're difficult to identify, it's hard to know if it's a deepfake or not, and then it's hard to know who actually posted the video.
Exactly. That's why we see the word naturally here. It's naturally hard to identify. But we want to take a look at that word anonymously as well. That is a word directly from your word bank. Let's talk about it.
Anonymously. This just means that someone does something that's made public, but they don't include their name.
That's right. So people can't find out who created this thing. We use the word anonymous as an adjective to talk about something that was written and then you don't know who wrote it. It might just have the word anonymous under there where the name would normally be. Who was it written by? Oh, it says anonymous. Friends, if you see that somewhere, don't think that the person's name is anonymous. That's not someone's name. That just means we don't know who wrote it.
That's right. And since deepfakes can be posted anonymously on the internet, our lesson says this makes laws against them difficult to enforce. Tech companies are also at work developing AI that can help recognize deepfakes. Now let's take a look at those two words, at work. This just means that you're doing a job or you're in the process of doing something.
That's right. Sometimes we can use this phrase to say someone is at their office or their workplace. Oh, where's Gabe? He's at work. However, in our lesson, it's followed by a verb with ing, right? They're at work developing something. So that's how we use this also. You could say, I'm at work editing a video. That means I'm in the process of editing a video. You could even just end the sentence with a period after work. You could say, she's hard at work or he's hard at work. Of course, they're working on something, but you could just say they're hard at work.
That's right. Well, we continue with our lesson. For now, some deepfakes can be discerned by humans who know what to look for. And we would like to take a look at that phrase, what to look for. This just means that there's something very specific that you are looking to see and you know what it is.
And we use this phrase when talking about people who are trained to know what to look for in different ways. So a detective is very good at his job. He knows what to look for. Someone who works at a convenience store knows what to look for when they're looking at a bill that you give them to see if it's real or fake. I don't know what to look for, but they do. Well, right now it's time for us to see what we can learn in the Info Cloud.
Hello, friends. Welcome back to InfoCloud. In this day and age, we are becoming more and more attached to our phones and computers.
But research has shown over and over that too much exposure to social media, video games, and online entertainment isn't good for us. So, what can we do?
Unplug. That's what I want to talk about today. Unplugging.
Unplugging has to do with electronic devices. Normally, to unplug something means to pull its charger out of a power source.
When we unplug from social media or the internet, it means to give ourselves a break from technology.
You could unplug from your cell phone. That means you don't use your phone at all for a certain amount of time.
Andrew couldn't handle the negativity in the news every day, so he decided to unplug this weekend.
We can also use unplug in other ways too.
For example, we could say, I took a weekend trip with my family this past weekend to unplug from the stresses of life.
I need to do that with my family. My kids are planning to spend this whole weekend playing Nintendo.
It sounds like they need to get unplugged. What about you, friends? Do you feel the need to unplug once in a while?
现代人对电子产品的依赖越来越大，甚至到了上瘾的程度。因此，在生活中 unplug 是非常重要的一件事情。unplug 字面上是不插电的意思，可以用来形容一个人要隔绝电子产品的使用。例如 Andrew decided to unplug this weekend. 这个周末 Andrew 决定不使用任何电子产品和网络。Unplug 也可以用来形容其他可以断绝的事物，像是 I took a trip to unplug from the stresses of life. 为了隔绝生活中的压力，我去旅行了。这就是今天的 InfoCloud， 我们下次云端见。
Studio Classroom is on the air.
Hello, friends. Welcome back to Studio Classroom, where we are learning about deep fakes. Now, we know deep fakes can actually be quite dangerous because they can actually show someone doing or saying something that that person had never done or said. Now, some governments are outlawing deep fakes. But the problem with the solution is sometimes it's actually hard to recognize whether or not a video is a deep fake. Well, friends, let's continue learning about deep fakes now. Deep fakes. For example, people in deep fake videos tend not to blink or blink at strange times. Changes in lighting or words that are out of sync with speech can also signal deep fakes. So what can you do? Be cautious about videos you see online of people doing or saying things that seem strange. Check multiple sources that don't depend on each other to verify information in videos before sharing them. If and when you are fooled by a fake, be willing to admit it and set the record straight. By pursuing truth, even when it isn't convenient, we can prevent some of the harm done by deep fakes.
接下来我们要看的字是动词 verify。To verify 的意思是证实或是证明。来看例句 ：The police are trying to verify the statements made by the witnesses。警察在调查目击者的说辞是否真实，或是 The professor keeps saying he has seen an alien from outer space, but that is very hard to verify. 教授一直说他有见过外星人，但那是很难证实的。还有一句 The scientist verified that the dinosaur bones were that of a T-Rex. 该名科学家已证实那些恐龙骨是一只霸王龙的。最后我们要看的是一句惯用语 Set the record straight. 请各位不要直接翻译这一句变成把唱片摆直的或是记录弄直的。To set the record straight 的意思是因为有误会，所以把事情解释清楚。我们来看例句 After being treated as a war hero, Thomas decided to set the record straight and let people know he had never been in battle. 自从人们一直把他当成战争英雄后 Thomas 就决定要向大家解释清楚他人根本没有上过战场。或是 The politician held a news conference to set the record straight about the campaign finances. 政客开了记者会，为了要把竞选经费向大家解释清楚。再来一句 The movie star was seen with a woman. He had to set the record straight. The woman was his cousin. 有人看到影星与一位神秘女士在一起，但是影星就向大家解释清楚，那位女士是他的表妹。Okay, let's get back to our teachers.
Thank you very much, Jack.
I'm going to have to verify some of that information that he shared with us. What do you think, Rebecca? Do you think it's okay?
I think it's great. I think it's been verified right now.
It's by us, right?
By us.
Okay, you did a good job, Jack.
Yes, great job.
Okay, well, friends, let's continue with our lesson. It's fun to try to use the words and the sentences and sentence patterns that we teach you here at Studio Classroom. Don't just listen to us, put them into practice.
That's right. Now, earlier we were talking about how right now deep fakes can be discerned by humans who know what to look for. Well, let's continue with that idea. We read, for example, people in deep fake videos tend not to blink or blink at strange times. So if you're watching a video and you see the person blinking at a really weird time or not at all, be careful. It could be a deep fake.
Yeah, so now you know something to look for. We read on changes in lighting or words that are out of sync with speech can also signal deep fakes. Let's take a look at the phrase to be out of sync.
To be out of sync, you were just out of sync. That was great. What does it mean when something is out of sync? This is just when there are two things that are at the same place, but at different times.
That's right. So often, or not often, sometimes the video in a footage, what you can see, might be out of sync with the audio. And so someone might be moving their mouth, but the audio is maybe a second before or a second after. And it's really unpleasant. It's really difficult to watch videos that are out of sync with the audio.
That's right. So if you watch a video on YouTube and it seems like something is out of sync,
then skip to the next video. That's just a difficult video to watch.
It is a difficult video to watch, but it could also be a deep fake. So beware.
Okay, well, what can you do? That's the next paragraph. Be cautious about videos you see online of people doing or saying things that seem strange. They seem strange, perhaps strange for that person to do. Another phrase we might say, it's out of step. It's out of what they usually might do. It's out of character.
That's right. Check multiple sources that don't depend on each other to verify information in videos before sharing them. I think it's very normal for people to see a video, one video, and they think that whatever is in that video is true. But in general, I think it's great to check multiple sources. Don't just depend on the one video that you see.
And that goes for not only videos or audio recordings, but also for articles that you read online. There are so many different articles and different organizations that are creating them. They all have their biases. We read on here, if and when you are fooled by a fake, be willing to admit it and set the record straight. By pursuing truth, even when it isn't convenient, we can prevent some of the harm done by deep fakes.
And we want to take a look at that phrase, to pursue truth, because I think it's something that's just very important and a great reminder. This just means look for the truth. Don't just believe the first thing that you see, but actually be mindful and look for what's actually true.
That's right. Pursuing truth. This makes me think of the fact that a lot of people these days think that everything we can know and everything that's important for us to know about life can be determined by science. Oh, that's just not true. We know that science can tell us how things happen, and even then we don't know how a lot of things happen or how they work, but it doesn't answer the question of why. Why are we here? What's the purpose of our existence? Some people say, well, those things are just not important for us to know then. Is that true? I think we should never stop pursuing truth.
I totally agree. Well, there's one more thing that we would like to take a look at that does not appear in our lesson, and this is the idea of confirmation bias, where you have a tendency to look for information that confirms what you already believe.
And it's a good kind of bias for you to know about, friends, and be aware of, because it's natural for all of us to just kind of search for things and interpret things in ways that confirm what we already believe. But if we're really pursuing truth, we really do need to go out of the way and do the hard work of finding the real facts of things. Okay, well, we did see that word anonymously earlier. Let's see how it's used in a skit.
Wow, what beautiful flowers.
Oh, yes, I know. Aren't they nice?
Yes, nice and expensive too. So, who are they from?
I don't know. They were sent anonymously.
What a mystery. Hey, is that a box of chocolates?
Yes, someone sent me those too.
Really? Who?
I don't know. They just appeared on my desk.
Anonymously?
That's right. And there was no note, and that's not all. Look at this lovely card that came in the mail today, too. And look what it says. It says, "You are my special and dear friend."
So, who sent it?
Well, I don't know. Someone sent it anonymously.
It's a real mystery, huh?
Yes, I just know whoever it is must be sweet and charming and kind and so full of love.
And everything was given anonymously. Huh. And you have no idea who it could be.
Right. No idea.
Oh, then it was me.
You?
Yeah.
Remember, friends, when you're on the internet watching videos, you're not necessarily going to want to believe every single video that you watch. It's important to look at the source and make sure it's a credible video. And as our lesson says, pursue truth. A great reminder. Well, friends, thank you very much for joining us today, and we look forward to seeing you next time right here on Studio Classroom.
I am so proud to have you in my life. A good friend lasts a lifetime.